Good day, viewer. You're most welcome to the NILE Cast on Westnile Television, where we give you the daily news bulletins of the day. Every day, my name is Okumringa Christine. Before we dive into any of the stories, let's first have a look at the news making headlines. In the headlines today, Westnile Child and Family Protection Unit lacks adequate facilities.
The office space is not there. Look at the sitting arrangement, no privacy, and all that.
Consumer Center Uganda cautions the public on preservation chemicals used on vegetables.
Food safety challenges might not kill people today, but they can kill them in the long term.
And flocks in Oluvu Sub-County gift Reverend Father Morris during ordination party. This and more in the NILE Cast News Bulletin. Good day again, viewer. You're most welcome to the NILE Cast on Westnile Television. Now let us dive into some of the stories. Youths in Arua Central Division, Arua City gathered at and marched to Mayor's Garden to demonstrate against the resident City Commissioner Akelo Alice Akena, asking her to leave office. Some of the key issues raised by the petitioners were the allegations of presiding over corruption and unfair allocation of resources, among others. Let's have more on that story.
A group of youths in Central Division in Arua City today converged at the Mayor's Gardens to demonstrate against the resident City Commissioner Miss Alice Akelo over what they termed as incompetence and abuse of office. During the demonstration led by the Central Division Council Speaker Right Honorable Osugarashul and his Deputy Right Honorable Victor Lomori, the group demanded for the transfer of the resident City Commissioner or Arua remain without a resident City Commissioner. In the petition dated 3rd of August, the group accuses the resident City Commissioner Alice Akelo for presiding over corruption through defending the corrupt officials in the city, unfair recruitment exercise in the city by the Service Commissioner, and they also accuse her of having a poor working relationship with her deputies and other city officials.
We have raised issues of corruption in Central Division. We've even told her the law mandates her to engage IGG to come and investigate if there are audit queries. These are issues that have not been addressed. Now, at the end of the day, people will say that this government has failed. Yet the president is making efforts, the government is making efforts, but some peculiar individuals think they are demigod. Everybody in this country, I want to make it very clear, everybody in this country works for the ordinary person. At the end of the day, we work for the ordinary person. If there are issues of corruption, we must address them. We must call it out. Unfortunately, when you call out corruptions, they will brand name you. They will say, you look at these small boys. They call us small boys, not even knowing that we are honorable members. Yeah. We have people's mandate. People are complaining. People are complaining. Let me talk about unfair resource allocation. Most of our roads in Central Division are in dire state. But look at what we were given. It's very small. When we raised it to her, she didn't even pay any attention.
At all, national importance. Looking at the above roles or the above functions of the RSC, she has completely failed in her mandate to perform this function. You will clearly see that the RSC is defending corrupt officials in Arua City. A case in point is the town agent of Bazaar, who is by the names of Adiru. Adiru was caught red-handed with the fake receipts, issuing fake receipts to people in Gaga Textile Market. After us bringing the issue to our attention, nothing has been done. So when we raised the alarm of recent, now that we are writing a petition against her, was now when Adiru was arrested. I was told 2 days ago she has been put up behind the bars. But we are saying, as people of Central Division, we are tired of this kind of...
However, in her response, the resident City Commissioner dismissed all the allegations levied against her in the petition as she denies condoning corruption. As she says, it's some politicians behind the move.
That is trash. Because one, I am one person who will never condone corruption. I don't condone corruption in any way. But what I don't want is to be pushed to do something that somebody wants to do. That I have said no. I'm a principled lady with integrity. Nobody will intimidate me. Politicians want me to dance to their tune. I'm not ready to do that. I am the representative of the president. My roles are very clear. Some politicians are using hooligans who are drunk to mess around. Like recently, there was a problem in the allocation of the bidding of the collection of revenue in the market. They claimed that the person who bid lower was awarded the contract. When I got the complaint, I went to the town clerk to find out why. The town clerk gave me reasons. I'm not a technical person. I wrote to my PS to engage PPDA, to get involved, to get interested and involved in this case. PPDA got involved. A tribunal was held in Gulu on Monday. I have the report here. Everything has been cancelled because I took it up upon myself. But I don't want to be tarnished. I am here specifically to do my work. Corruption, I don't tolerate it.
The group, led by the councillors, promised to continue with the protests as they await to bring the matter before the council in the next sitting. Farish Majid, Osuta Yusuf, Westnile TV NILE CAST.
And more in our stories, the lack of decent furniture and limited space for handling family cases at the Child and Family Protection Unit is affecting service delivery at the Westnile region head offices in Arua City. According to information from the authorities, the facility lacks enough rooms to privately handle cases, making their work difficult. Farish Majid reports.
The Child and Family Protection Unit of the Uganda Police in Westnile sub-region is grappling with dilapidated structures and inadequate furniture as the facility cannot sufficiently accommodate the officers and those seeking for help. The lack of proper furniture and space at the facility is making work difficult for the personnel who are meant to deal with family issues as it currently operates from a uniport. Assistant Inspector of Police Ruchiri Christine, the in charge of the facility, says the lack of proper facilities and funds is making their work difficult, most especially when handling cases of children.
We do suffer a lot because we don't have a reception center for these children. Even these ones who still have cases assault and whatever, when they are brought to police, we don't have any special room for them where they're supposed to be kept. These children are not supposed to be kept with the elders in the same cells. But due to conditions, lack of the reception center and the juvenile cells, they end up being put together with the adults. Now when we get these missing children, we don't have anywhere to keep them. As we look for their parents, where we can relocate, where we can settle them with their parents, we don't have anywhere to keep them. We don't have anything for feeding them. We have to go in our own pockets. Oh, good Samaritan. That's somebody by passing, seeing a child with us. Why is this child here? This child is missing. We are still tracing for where to take the child.
Duchir also says the lack of rooms at the facility is making it difficult, most especially when handling domestic violence cases, where they find it hard to give accommodation to the victims who may arrive at night.
And in the domestic violence cases, also women, when they are beaten by their men at home, some do run here at night. They cannot go back to their homes. And you cannot send these children, these women to go back to the very home where they have come from. Because it is like a lion was chasing a goat. You are sending the goat back to the lion. It is really very difficult. And since we don't have where to keep them at times, we just leave them on the counter to sleep. Which is very dangerous because someone has been beaten. Her body is very cold. Some come half dressed. They need some clothes. She actually needs where to be kept at least overnight until you call the spouse the following day. And you talk to them before you can resettle them. Since we don't have that, it is very difficult for us to handle them.
The Westnile Regional Head of Gender at Uganda Police, Jimmy Anguyo, who formerly headed the unit, says the situation at the facility is frustrating as he calls for support.
The office of CFPU is stressful because the furniture itself is stressing. you're handling an issue of someone who is stressed. Again, you're already stressed, so stress and stress becomes stress triple times. I don't know who's going to help who. The office space is not there. Look at the sitting arrangement, no privacy and all that, and they want you to perform. To me, if I were in charge of this country or in charge of Uganda Police Force, I think it should be the most furnished office, because they are doing a lot of work, but police is not looking at this. They think of CIA. CIAs are treating symptoms, but not issues. Issues come from here. If we don't nurture properly from here, CIA will have a lot of work. But this, if office is facilitated, people working in it are happy, and they do their job as they are doing, I think we shall have reduced work for the CID people. We shall have reduced crimes in the community. So basically the office is stressing because there is no furniture.
The national demographic data from 2020 reveals that 56% of married women aged between 15 to 49 years are reported to having suffered physical or sexual violence by their husbands. Farish Majid, Westnile TV, NILE CAST.
And more in our stories. Consuming vegetables could be putting a lot of Ugandans at risk of contracting dangerous diseases due to the unregulated use of pesticides and fungicides by the farmers while the crops are still in the garden. Gulu district officials attribute the current problem with the overdosage of chemicals on vegetables and urges chemists to clearly elaborate the proper usage of pesticides to avoid misuse. Stephen Okello from Gulu reports.
According to Consumer Center Uganda, the white substance that you see on the tomatoes and other vegetables displayed on the market stalls could be the dangerous chemical known as mangoseb. This chemical is used by the farmers as fungicide to spray vegetable against pests.
And anything that is not safe is not food. If food is not safe, it is not food. We cannot realize food security and nutrition if the food that is a vehicle to realize food security and nutrition is not safe.
The recent research that was conducted across the country indicates that vegetables sold in the market in northern Uganda have a very high amount of chemicals. Kimera Henry Richard, the team leader at the Consumer Center, says this is because of the unregulated use of pesticide and fungicide such as Weedmaster and Mangoseb.
Food safety challenges are a time bomb. Food safety challenges might not kill people today, but they can kill them in the long term, but it will lead a healthy or medical budget burden on the country. So a lot of food safety issues come in as foodborne diseases caused by contamination of water, contamination of the infrastructure, contamination of the soils. Others come in due to chemical abuse, others are biological, others are also physical.
This could be escalating the rate at which people contract non-communicable diseases such as cancer in Uganda. At the heart of Gulu City, Apeo Priska, who sells at Olai Long Market, explained that the tomatoes that are brought from the other part of the country are expensive, but the quality is high.
The tomatoes from Kampala, the quality is good, and as you can see, the quality is quite different from the one for our local farmers from here, and we bought at the higher price.
Priska encouraged our customer to thoroughly wash all the vegetables brought from the local market. Noya district produce the majority of the vegetables that are consumed in Gulu City. Auma Joyce explained that veterinary doctors and farmers tells them that the chemicals are not harmful. People who have time and land are encouraged to grow their own vegetables in order to reduce the exposure to chemicals.
So the little you consume that you make from home, yes, you can make a backyard garden for yourself and grow a few tomatoes, onions, but you find that it's also not very sustainable for you because the number in your family may tend to fluctuate, and as also a busy person, it's not easy to maintain consistent production because there are periods that will come and you do not have produce, so you have to go and buy So you find at the end of the day, you're forced to go back to the market where these products are bought from. So knowing where the products have come from is very important, even if you're trying to grow your own.
Michael Robanga, a public health inspector in Gulu, acknowledged the current problems associated with overdose of chemicals in the vegetables. He believed that writing all the instructions in big and clear letters will reduce the misuse of fungicide and pesticide by the farmers and traders.
All these chemicals that are going to be used for the vegetables to protect them against the pests, all right, the fungicides should be, or the aphids should be something that falls within the World Health Organization mandate, and there should be something that the amount applied must be known. Definitely one who's producing it and bringing it to the supplier must give with full knowledge of all the side effects.
Contamination of water point has also been attributed to poor disposal of containers and sockets that the fungicide and pesticide are sold in. In 16 borehole tested, 16 different pesticides were found to have been contaminating the water which people use at home and for drinking. Stephen Okedo for Westnile Television, NILE CAST.
And more in our stories. Catholics from the Greater Olobu Sub-County congregated at Oka Village, Obiba Sub-County in Maracha District to hand over a brand new Bajaj motorcycle, goats, iron sheets among other gifts to Reverend Father Sunday Morish, who was ordained into priesthood on Saturday the 29th of July 2023 by Right Reverend Sabino Chano Doki and posted to Logiri Parish in Arua District. Osuta Yusuf reports. Joyous Christians who are mainly Catholics from the Greater Olobu Sub-County congregated in Akia Village, Obiba Sub-County in Maracha District to hand over money, brand new Bajaj motorcycle, goats, iron sheets among other gifts to Reverend Father Sunday Morish, aged 31 years old, who was ordained into priesthood on Saturday the 29th of July 2023 by Right Reverend Sabino Chano Doki and posted him to Logiri Parish in Arua District. While applauding Reverend Father Morish for his committed efforts towards education which has made him achieve his priesthood, the councillor representing people of Agai Town Council to the District Council and at the same time the LC5 Vice Chairperson for Maracha District, Honorable Bosco Asi, lashed out at the negative attitude of many people towards education.
Anjike ade dozo ni to alo simusu bile te klase ansia anzir tao anjike ade kale na kalisu ifi na andi ma pare ike ofo agua te klase anzir ko mi te bere na ngiri kali yo njeni tezo ni amavu marachali ya rangire ifi fa ka skulu lako
Delegation of clergies from foster parents of Alokolum National Major Seminary, Ira George Williams, thanked Reverend Father Sunday for remaining dedicated to arrive this far. The association also handed over a certificate and other gifts to the Reverend as appreciation.
We are so much appreciative, more particularly to our son Sunday Morris. You know, normally many are called, but few are chosen. And when today we are officiating this and we are seeing Reverend Father Sunday Morris having a Thanksgiving Mass today, I think it's worthwhile praising God and thanking Him for His providence. We will clap our hands and thank God for His providence for Reverend Father Morris. Thank you, Sunday Morris, for making us proud. You know very well, you started with so many of your colleagues, but I don't know if all of you were ordained. I know many of you would have actually, one way or the other, fallen apart. So today, we are very happy that we have made us to achieve what we have achieved today.
Marsha District Woman Member of Parliament Honorable Jennifer Jiwaru thanked the people of Akar clan for pushing the education of Reverend Father Morish to become a priest, adding that such people do not only serve the place where they originate from, but they serve the entire world. The guest of honor of the ceremony, Honorable Onzima Alex, who was the State Minister for Local Government and also served as the area member of Parliament for Maracha constituency for 20 years from 1996 to 2016, castigated many priests for not telling people the truth, adding that he has earned a lot of enemies throughout his life for telling and standing on the truth.
Because you don't tell them the truth and you don't tell them honestly and you don't tell them grandly. You look whatever on the Yola Batista, on the Christo Marley, I don't beat around the bush. And for that reason, I've earned many enemies. They are not enough. I have more enemies who will be honest. Yes. All my meaning honesty. It's my principle. The Catholic are highly friendly ministers. In the SA are only a minister, but I people.
Osuta Yusuf and Kumaringa Christine for Westnile Television, NILE CAST.
Viewers, you are most welcome for today's edition of Sports News at Westnile TV. My name is Oracle Benson Pastore. In one of the stories we have got for you today, pupils in Paida Town Council in Zombo District have been called to be disciplined in the ongoing ball games. The District Police Commander for Zombo District has cautioned secondary school students who go on to support their OBs and OGs in these ball games. Let's have the compiled story.
Pupils of primary schools in Paida Town Council Zombo District have been called to be disciplined in the primary school games which kicked off this morning. During the opening of the games at Bototorgang Boys and Ngote Primary School playgrounds respectively, there is determination that the games will end successfully without hooliganism cases among the pupils. Alex Jauyambe, Secretary Paida Town Council Games and Sports Association, said they have organized the game to select some players who will represent the district in the district championship next week.
We have organized this game in a way that, the main reason for organizing the game is to have proper selection. The pupils we are going to select to represent the district, to represent the town council at the district championship. Then in terms of maybe hooliganism and so on, We have brought in some security personnel, though they are not going to begin today. But for today's case, it's only the scouts from these various schools who are going to curb insecurity at the different playgrounds. And then from tomorrow, that's when we shall begin our finals. We are going to begin with the quarterfinals. Then the finals will be on Saturday if everything goes well. And then in the finals, we have brought in the police or the other security personnel. We have written to them, they have accepted to bring in the security personnel. So we are very sure that at least insecurity will not be a big problem to us.
Liliana Yuroth, one of the umpires in girls netball, said the games started late due to rainfall, which started at the time the players were to begin their netball and football competition.
We are beginning the game late because of some few challenges, but we managed to make it. At this time we are going to begin it. We are expecting good participation and discipline. This discipline will not be even on the field, but even the participants and the fans. Here we are having Ngute Primary School, we are having Shana Primary School, Mbogo Upper Primary School, and Our Lady.
Some of the players shared their expectations to win their first games.
I could school but
recently, Zombo District Police Commander SP Nelson Ahabwe cautioned secondary school students who take part in supporting their OBs and OGs of their schools of inciting violence during primary games competition. The games with 11 primary schools will end on Saturday with the finals at Barokoro Stadium, when 2 schools from each group stage excel to the final stage. Alfred Jawok, Westnile TV, NILE CAST.
Away from that story, in the ongoing Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, Germany has been knocked out of the tournament. This comes after their 1-1 tie with South Korea. It's not the first time we are seeing the country South Korea knocking out Germany national team. I also remember in 2018 Men's World Cup, that last goal which came towards the closing edges also saw Germany being knocked out in the tournament. And it's another bad omen for Germany in the Ladies World Cup, as we saw them drawing 1-1 tie yesterday. Not only that one, we have also seen African countries advancing to the round of 16. And Morocco yesterday edged Colombia by 1-0, which means in total we have 3 countries from African continent that have proceeded to the round of 16 as far as the ongoing World Cup is concerned. We have got South Africa, not forgetting about the Falcons. When we talk about the Falcons, we are actually talking about the ladies team of Nigeria. And the draws for the round of 16 have already been done, where we will see Morocco battle it out with the finalists of 2019, that's France. Their game will be on Tuesday. In another fixture for an African country, we will see South Africa battling it out with Netherlands. Meanwhile, the side Falcons, Nigeria, they have been drawn up against, that's England. Away from that story, we are turning our angle to what is transpiring as far as the transfers are concerned, where Chelsea, they have already confirmed the signature of Axel Disasi from AS Monaco, a club that plays in French Ligue 1. This happens today, and Chelsea, they have completed his deal at £38 million. He joined AS Monaco way back in 2019-20 from a club in the names of Reims, a club that also plays in French Ligue 1. He has gone on to spend 2 years with AS Monaco. His move to Chelsea Football Club shows joining his former partner, Darcy Badasil, who moved to the Stamford Bridge Club last summer. With that, we have come to the end of today's edition of Sports News. My name remains Oracle Benson Pastore.
Thank you, Benson Pastore, for the sports news and the sports update. And with that, viewer, we've come to the end of the NILE Cast on Westnile Television. Thank you for being with us from the beginning of the NILE Cast to the end of the NILE Cast, only on Westnile Television. Please stay tuned to the rest of the subsequent programs that may follow. My name is Okumringa Christine. Have a good day.